Hey there, little bunny. I hope you've been having a wonderful, wonderful week. And even if not, that's okay too, right? Oh, I'm feeling so much better than I was earlier this week. I'll tell you more about that soon, but I'm feeling great tonight. It's almost 1 a.m. right now. And I get to spend one of my favorite parts of the week with you, little bunny. Why is it one of my favorite parts of the week? It's because it's you, little bunny. You are a great source of joy in my life. And what do I need you to do, little bunny? What does your daddy require from you in return for being here for you every Friday? And all sorts of other content we'll get into. What do you need to do in return, little bunny? You just need to listen with loving ears. It's all you gotta do. It's all I require from you. Take a breath with me. Just feel some love for me, little bunny. Makes it easy for me to love you back. I like that this is two-directional. I really do. This is something special, not just for you, but for me too. So I'm glad you're here. And what should I do? Should I get you out via my bunny figurine? Or should I take a sip of my beverage? What beverage do you think I have this week, little bunny? I have some delicious decaf coffee, although I don't know yet if it's delicious because I haven't tasted it yet. Let's give it a try. Oh, it's still pretty hot. I didn't make it strong enough. It's a touch watery. That's okay. We'll see how it tastes when it gets a little bit colder. I was trying to ration the coffee because I got a nice brand this time. Sometimes I get the really cheap stuff. Sometimes I get the really nice stuff. So I've got the high quality stuff now, but then I rationed it. I was like, we gotta make it last longer. But then if you don't put enough in, little bunny, then it ceases to become the superior one, doesn't it? But either way, what's next is we open up the protective bunny case. And which Queen Little Bunny made for you. You're loved not just by me. And you're loved by your many, many fellow bunnies too. If you were ever alone at one point in your life, that has now changed forever. From now on, you are never, ever, ever alone. Sigh of relief. And what is the point of this podcast, little bunny? Is it to make you feel good or help you through stuff or entertain you? I don't know. There is no point, little bunny. We're just making stuff up as we go. I think we're just having a good time. Not taking things too seriously. Just spending quality time together. If I happen to be entertaining, nice. If I happen to be really useful to you and help you inspire to be the best version of yourself, do the things you want to do, be the person you want to be, etc. Well, then that's great. But all we really are trying to do here, little bunny, is just be together. And I enjoy this time together. Oh, I'm looking at you so lovingly, little bunny. Looking at you so lovingly. Okay, what do we need to do? I always forget to do my housekeeping stuff, I guess. So, the locked audio this past week. Locked audio is like the Patreon only audio that I do. Oh yeah, so I was feeling low earlier this week. just a couple days ago, actually, because I've mentioned a couple times in the past few podcasts that I'm wrapping up my second novelette, 3-chapter novelette. And I finished writing it and I recorded it, and I was like, this isn't quite good enough. And so I revised the whole thing, and then I recorded it again, and I was like, this isn't quite right. Anyway, it was a couple days ago. It was to be the locked audio that week on Patreon. And I just, while I was recording it, I said, this is not good enough for you, little bunny. You deserve really good content from me. High quality in as many ways as I can do. As many ways as I can do. As I work harder every time not to slur my words. Little bunny, you deserve really great things from me. So, it was not... 1 second. It was not 95% perfect. Anyway, so I ditched it, and then I recorded it. Slow down, Daddy. I ditched it, and I recorded an hour-long improvised ramble for you. That was the locked audio this past week. And I told you a little story also. It was fun. And it's called You Deserve Great Things or something like that. But anyway, so that's the locked audio this past week. The locked section of the garden is Patreon, and it is 18 plus only, so please respect that if you consider joining. And the Patreon grows in bursts, usually, depending on when I go viral on TikTok or Instagram. And so it's been a little slow for the past month or two on TikTok, Instagram. You know, videos doing fine, but nothing going into like the millions or anything. So, hold on 1 second. Okay, there's a stirring green little bunny asleep behind us. Yeah, so I guess this is a good, if you've ever been on the fence about joining the Patreon, get your keys, become a key holder bunny, now is a good time, I think. I like it when especially because there's a Discord community component to it, and you don't have to do Discord if you just want to check out the locked audios or you want to support the garden, etc. It's worthwhile even without the Discord, but something that's really nice is there's a whole online community of your fellow bunnies, and Discord is like a social community app. Kind of replaced what message boards used to be back in the day. And yeah, it's a really beautiful, wonderful community. And it was your fellow bunnies on the Discord who really cheered me up when I was feeling really down about having to throw my novelette in the trash, because I finished writing it and I spent a lot of time on it. And so I felt really frustrated that I couldn't make something that I think is up to what you deserve. But they made me feel a lot better. So if you want to go meet your fellow bunnies on the Discord, that's part of the Patreon. And now is a decent time because the growth has been slow for past couple months. And so I like it when there's a steady growth. If there's too much growth all at once, then you got to kind of make sure the culture stays. And if it's too slow growth, then that's not as exciting because you don't have fresh life coming in. And just, it's nice when there's a gently expanding community. So now's a great time to join the locked section of the garden if you want. And money is never a requirement to being my little bunny. So if you just want to do podcasts and check out the social media videos on TikTok and Instagram, you can listen to the podcast on YouTube now as well. And there's little voice notes on X. So that's another place you can follow me. And you can also subscribe to the no spam fiction mailing list. I'll just call it the email list. Who knows? Maybe at one point I'll really need to send a couple messages, nonfiction. Who knows? But all sorts of different places to follow, etc. Go be a good little bunny and make sure you follow the podcast and on the different platforms and things. And if you care to, you can join the locked section of the garden. But make sure that you are respecting the 18 and plus requirements of that. Age goes all the way up. I guarantee you're not the oldest nor the youngest bunny. So if you feel self-conscious, if you're a 100-year-old bunny, no need at all. Okay. We actually have one of the channels in the Discord is specifically for bunnies who are parents. And it's one of the most active channels, so it's really special. I like that. Okay. What do we want to talk about this week, little bunny? I want to do something special with you. You want to do something special with me? I want you to look around wherever you are right now. So maybe you're in your car, or maybe you're in bed, and you can always use these to fall asleep, little bunny. If you just want to tune me out, drift off to sleep, then I give you full permission. But if you happen to have your eyes open right now, go ahead and look around you. Maybe you're at a coffee shop. Maybe you're at work behind your desk. Maybe you're going out for a walk. I love preparing for content for you like podcasts by going on walks. Wherever you are, look around and just notice the room you're in. I'll tell you where I am right now, and you can translate to yourself, but I see a window and some street lights out and some plants, tree life type stuff, and bookshelves and some framed artwork, things like this. I've got a really good sense of this room. Do you have a sense of the room you're in right now, little bunny? Where are the boundaries of it? I want you to consider for a moment the idea that this room you're in now is all that exists. This is the entire universe. Nothing else exists beyond the room you're in right now. If you were to go past the walls, it's just nothing there. It's not even some scary abyss. It's just not a thing. There just is nothing beyond the walls. And if you can see out into the distance, maybe you're driving or something, wherever the horizon is, some mountains in the distance, or as far as you can see, that's all there is. That's the barrier. And if you were to go over there, nothing else would be beyond it. And I guess if you're driving, like, the universe can kind of move with you, right? The point is, the universe is the size of your senses. What you can sense. Maybe take a second to see what you can feel. Are you sitting down or lying down? What does that feel like? The pressure that you feel on your skin against your body. Do you feel any textures of your clothes? Textures of your skin, of any hair you have? This is also all that exists. How about the sounds? You hear me? Do you hear other stuff? Is it quiet, or are there background noises? Let's focus on how you can hear me, little bunny. You're in this room, and that's all that exists, or this car. Interpret this however you are, wherever you are. The fact that you have my voice in your ears means that you exist, and I exist with you. And maybe there's other people around you, maybe there's not. Let's imagine for a moment that it's you alone in your room, and it's me, the sound of my voice in your ears. This little universe that we live in is population 2. There are 2 people who exist in the entire universe. And it's you and it's me. Just consider that for a moment. It's not literally true, but we want to emotionally tap into this state of mind. It's a really, really, really valuable trick to unlock some happiness that your brain will not give you on its own. I'll talk about the brain in a second. Let me take a sip of coffee. But first, let's enjoy population 2 and whoever else is in the room with you. If you're in a coffee shop, it's population you, me, and the other coffee shop people. So let's take a breath, you and me. Very small population universe. So much simpler that way, isn't it? Let me take a sip of coffee. So, let's think about how our brains were. The environments our brains evolved to meet the demands of. Our brains are extremely, extremely advanced, well adapted over millions of generations, going all the way back to, I guess, single cell organisms, or depending on where you want to start the clock. Very, very simple organisms. And then millions and millions, billions of generations, I believe, go by. Billions? No, I don't think it would be billions of generations. I'm not sure. Anyway, many, many iterations of survival of the fittest eventually led to your brain, little bunny. And do you know the purpose of your brain? Biological evolutionary lesson. I don't want to make it sound like we're in class or something like that, but I'll put it poetically for you. If you ever listened to the first podcast episode, and I revisited again with a cute little puppy dog episode title or something, your brain very often, its job is to protect you. And I liken it sometimes to a puppy dog. And it'll yap, 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 yap. It'll say, watch out for this, watch out for that. Oh no, how about that? Be careful of this. And that's just what it was evolved to do. Because it had to survive in the most chaotic shitstorm of that is nature. Nature is a chaotic, hellish shitstorm of survival. And the brain is very, very good at winning that survival game. And it's this little dog that go yap, 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 yap. Watch out for this. Watch out for that. And if you haven't realized that it's a dog and I'm telling you this in reverse, but if you imagine you're at a campfire and you see this shadow of a monster on the wall. It's got this big fangs and it bellows and it roars. I don't know I gotta refine the way. I'm gonna allow myself the permission to not be perfect in communicating this idea. I'm going to be doing it many, many, many times over. So we're just getting better as we go, little bunny. Your brain can't always be taken at face value. It will create suffering for you as much as it desires, if that's in service of helping you survive. It will make you clutch on to things you want to let go of. It will make you assume the worst of whatever other people think of you. It will make you anxious and scared. It will make you nervous about the future. It will do any number of things if it is in the service of what it believes to help your genes survive to the next generation. So if we think of it as a puppy dog, don't get confused by the shadow of the big beast on the wall. Your brain's just trying to protect you, little bunny. Your brain is hanging on to bad things that have happened to you, or stewing on conversations that didn't go right, lingering on unresolved conflicts with people. It's making you worry about that thing that's coming up that you've been worried about. These are all just tricks that once you can be aware of them, that your brain does these and is designed to do that, you can just be on your guard a little bit for it. And that's why this is so valuable, to bring ourselves back to this tiny world, this tiny little universe of population 2. It's you and it's me, and nothing else exists beyond the walls of this room. Any bad memories or any people who are causing you grief that exist, none of that's here right now. Do you see any bad people or people that you have unresolved conflicts with here in this room? No, they're not in this room. Well, then, little bunny, they don't exist in this frame of mind. They don't exist. And I'll come back and I'll resolve this with how this is not sticking your head in the sand. But consider that this really is the whole universe. And anything that you may be worried about coming up, well, guess what, little bunny? Time doesn't exist here. There's been nothing before this. There will be nothing after this. It's just you and me taking a breath together. I'm gonna think about this now. So intent on having your universe be tiny. Let me get my universe be tiny right now. Just this room here. And I've got you with me. And we both have Queen Little Bunny asleep behind us. I've got my flavor here. Let me drink this. Nothing else exists. So, if we want to get dry, I have a name for this frame of mind. Maybe we'll rename this to something more user-friendly, more fun. I call this the subjective universe. You are a universe unto yourself, little bunny. Your happiness is an end unto itself. Your happiness is a good thing for the sake of the fact that it's your happiness. It is good for this subjective universe, which is just the size of your senses. It's anything you can see here. It's only the present moment. Population is only the people in the room with you. This is an entire self-contained universe. And it's just one of multiple. Now this is starting to sound like some multiverse thing. I have opinions on that, of course. But now let me pair this with, you may say, Daddy, how naive is this? Of course there's stuff outside this room. Of course there are other things going on in the world. There are many things going on in the world, many of which are very bad. And I would say, correct, little bunny. There is also the objective universe. And that is the shared universe. There's one single truth about what is objectively true. And we are all sharing one objective universe together. We are all in the same world. What is true in one place is, for one observer, is true for another. I'll figure out though. I'll get better at teaching this every time I do it. It's not teaching. So, if you're in this subjective universe, little bunny, and you're looking around you and you're in this room and it's the size of your senses, and it's population of you, me, and whomever else is here right now. There's nothing before this, there's nothing after this. And suddenly, things become a lot more calm, don't they? Do you feel a bit more calm now with this tiny, tiny universe, nice and cozy? This subjective universe does exist within the objective universe. And I would like for you to hold on to this frame of mind when you're just experiencing the world around you. I would like for you to think of whatever else is out there. I want you to know it's true, but experience it almost like it's words written by a typewriter on a piece of paper. For instance, to pick a very easy example, there is a deli down the street. It's like a convenience store. And I could imagine going in there and getting a tasty beverage, as your daddy loves to do. Instead of visualizing that deli, suddenly now my universe has expanded. And I don't just have this room. I'm not just living here in the present moment with you. But there's also this image of the deli that I'm conjuring in my mind. And suddenly my universe is a little bit heavier. Instead of imagining that deli down the street, if I'm thinking about getting a beverage, let me not imagine it. Let me just think of there's like a text document information that I just know without attaching any kind of image to it or sensory experience to it. I just know there's a deli back there. Just kind of like if you handed me some words on a page that says, "Hey, Daddy, there's a deli down there, down the street." This is a very healthy way to process the enormous world that we happen to have ourselves live in. This is why I wanted to talk about your brain and what it was evolved for. Your brain was not evolved to comprehend world news. Holy freaking God, little bunny. To have the entirety of the world in your conscious experience all the time, that is something our brains are not at all equipped to deal with. That is a big ask, to shoulder all the emotional struggles and burdens of every human on earth at once. It is also very true that we should care deeply about every human on earth, and that we should want to create a better world and push civilization forward. We don't have to feel like we're juggling the entire world all the time in order for us to be productive people, to help solve problems. even if we're not thinking about the entire world, but just the number of people that you know, little bunny. Our brains, you go back 10,000 years, 20,000 years, the number of people that you know in your entire lifetime is like less than 1,000. Okay? Our brains know how to operate on these smaller levels. To be juggling all these relationships with these different people, and there's like these text messages, and there's all this social media, and the world can be a lot to hold in your head, little bunny. I would love to help you. This is all just about helping you be happy. I would love for you to be able to take a breath with me and just exist in this room. So I hope that's useful, little bunny. I'm not the first person to come up with it. It's basically just mindfulness. The Buddhists beat me to it. But a lot of these ways of thinking, this was part of this specific way of thinking was actually, if you remember my origin story, episode 100. What did I even say? I don't know. I was in a very, 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 very depressed point in my life. And I was quite convinced that life was an inherent suffering that none of us consented to being born into. And that I was just gonna kind of just let time pass and endure life. And somehow, I don't know, I just decided at least I was going to journal my thoughts. And I typed, this was in a period when I had to stop working, and I thankfully was able to live with some family. Very, very fortunate for that. And I just, for that period of time, I just typed all day, little bunny. All day, just learning my brain. Notice your brain, transcribe its thoughts, and then just very rationally and strategically pick it apart, see how it works, see how we can reframe our mindsets. Not to live in some kind of fiction, but just to know how our brains work. And you can be smart in outsmarting it. You realize it's just a puppy dog. And this poor puppy dog was designed to live in a tribe of 1,000 people or fewer. And the size of the universe for that poor puppy dog was like as far as you could walk. It was a much smaller world, little bunny. Oh, we grew up in a much smaller world. Even forgetting about, the fact that we have to keep up with the entire world's news, and always the most horrible things bubble to the top, and they're to be taken seriously. Absolutely, of course. It's just a matter of the technology of our brains, and we're just emotional, sensory creatures. It's just not healthy to try and interpret the entire world with the technology that was designed just for a single tribe in like a few large fields. So we got to be careful. Social media is, of course, the same way. People rant about social media all the time. I don't want to be a ranter. Yeah. Anyway. A bit of a different episode tonight, is it? I don't know. I'm always looking for new ways that I can help make your life better. I've stumbled upon quite a few wisdoms in that period of my life where I just turned it around from absolute despair. Oh, it was so bad, little bunny. Oh, it was so bad. And now I think I'm one of probably the happiest person I know. And I have all kinds of advantages that are not typical. So I'm not saying that like, oh, it's easy. But I think there's a lot internally we can do to help ourselves be happy. And I've got it. Oh my God, little bunny, I cannot wait for this. I saved all of my notes. All of them. I saved every single thing that I wrote. And it is so much stuff. It's like thousands of, I don't know if it's thousands of pages, but it's a lot of stuff, of notes of me figuring out how to learn my brain and go from despair to a really happy state of mind. I'm going to feed that into AI pretty soon. As soon as we get a model that will, I made him be able to do it now. What do you think, little bunny? Should I condense my notes and have AI help show you what I did to help feel better? I don't know. Okay, I hope this episode was good, little bunny. You can let me know. You can always email me, Lindy@lindysgarden.com or daddy@lindysgarden.com, whichever you prefer. So, I guess this episode was fine. I don't know. Very different. Please let me know. I want to be the best daddy I can possibly be for you. So, always looking for ways I can be better for you. You deserve it, little bunny. You deserve the best. I'm going to get to bed, and I will write you a poem tomorrow morning. You will hear it in just a moment. I'll be right back. Good night. Good morning, little bunny. I slept very well, thank you for asking. I wrote you a little poem, and then I will send you out on your way. So you ready? If we try to imagine too many things at once, our anxiety and dread commences. So instead we focus on the here and the now. Make our world small as the size of our senses. Have a great, great week, little bunny. Want to take one more breath with me? Here we go. I love you. I love you. I love you.